Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, helping you to live in tune with the natural cycles of the moon. This is your astrology horoscope for the new moon in Capricorn, which happens on Sunday, January 2nd, 2022 at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Time or 10:33 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on at this new moon in Capricorn is that we are so close to stepping into some new and big and better chapter in life that we've been working towards for quite some time. However, it still feels slow in coming and it still feels very, very delayed. And it is us working through really what this delay is and what this roadblock is so that we can stop delaying the new chapter in life and we can more fully get it on the road bigger and faster and quicker, I think, from here on out. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please stay tuned because I'm going to hop into it right now, okay? And to get into this new moon in Capricorn, what I always like to do first is to place it on the chart just so that you can see what it is that I'm referring to and follow along with me. So let me do that now. All right, here is the new moon in Capricorn in this chart. I know that it's the new moon because we've got the moon and the sun right together here at the same degree and the same exact sign. Okay, what are new moons all about? New moons are the beginning of a lunar month or of the whole lunar cycle. So they're about new beginnings, new energy, and fresh starts here. What new beginning, new energy, and fresh start are we getting? Capricorn, because that's the sign that the moon is in. Now, what does Capricorn mean? What is Capricorn all about? Well, a few things. The first thing that I want to say here is that Capricorn is a cardinal sign. What are cardinal signs about? They are about new cycles starting new cycles. They start seasons. So what does this mean to me? And one of the things it means to me is that this new moon is all about us getting new energy to step into some major new cycle of life. Okay, not only that, but I should note too, that Capricorn is a lot about karma. And when I say karma, I specifically mean the results of our past efforts and the results of our past behaviors that we've been working on for quite some time, especially since the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which came exact in this sign of April 2020. So what does that mean to me? It means to me that not only is this new moon about us getting more new energy, support, I think it's a supportive energy to step into a new cycle of life, but to step into a new cycle of life that we've really been working to get to, trying to get to for quite some time and putting an effort to get to for a while. Not only that, but I should note too that Capricorn deals only with the big stuff, okay? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which can be a bit of a heavy hitter here. It's at the very, very top of the chart too. So it likes to deal with things that are significant. So not only is this new moon about us getting a new boost here or more of a boost into some new cycle of life that we've been working towards for quite some time, but about this new cycle of life not just being a little drop in the pan, but about this new cycle of life being major, being very significant, and being something that I believe will be with us for many months and years and decades to come, especially because it takes Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, like 30 years to get around the zodiac, okay? Not only that, but I should note too that Capricorn is the highest part of the astrological chart, way up here. What is the highest part of the astrological chart? It's what is publicly seen. It's like the noontime part of the chart, and Capricorn has a lot to do with your reputation and your social standing in the public. So what does that mean to me? It means to me that not only it's this new moon in Capricorn about us getting more energy here to get some new cycle of life that we've been working towards for quite some time on the road that's going to be very significant and alter the direction of our life for many months and years to come. But this new moon is also about that finally being more publicly seen, not just to us and not just felt, but being seen to the naked eye and being seen to everyone else, if you will, in a way that feels a bit more substantial, especially too with Capricorn being an earth sign. Okay, not only that, but I should also note too that Capricorn is a responsible sign that likes to take care of business and manage things strategically and effectively. So not only is this new moon, in Capricorn about us getting some new chapter in life here on the road that we've been working towards for quite some time in a way that can be more publicly seen. And I think it's going to change the course of our life from here on out. But I think it's also about us really trying to be responsible about this process and about this new chapter in life so that we can make sure that we're doing it right or doing it the best for us and for our own interests here as we move forward, so that also it can last the test of time here from here on out, okay, and have a better long-term outcome. there. Not only that, but I should note too that Capricorn to me is a sign of patience, if you will, again, being ruled by Saturn, which takes some time to get around the zodiac and being an earth sign. So not only is this new moon about us stepping into some new chapter in life and us learning how to manage this process in a better, more responsible way to get us a better long-term result, but I think it's also about us trying to be a little bit more patient here throughout the process and work through our emotions in a little bit of a better way so that they do not get the best of us. Okay, not only that, but one more thing I think I'm going to add, even though there's tons of things I could actually say about Capricorn, especially this time around. But the one last thing I think I'm going to add here is that to me, Capricorn is also a little bit about certainty because it's ruled by Saturn, because it's an earth sign. It wants black or white answers. It wants to know for certain, is something staying, is something going, and what's going on. So the one last thing that I'm going to add here is that not only is this new moon in Capricorn about us getting more of a boost to get some new significant cycle, chapter of life that we've been working for quite some time here on the road to move us forward in a more public way that's actually seen, and us managing that process in a much better and healthier and responsible way that's going to get us a better long-term result without the emotions bringing us down, or without unhealthy emotions bringing us down. But we also too are starting, I think, to get more certainty about what this new chapter is in life and about how to work with it and about what it's going to require of us here in order for us to move forward. Okay. And that's all that I want to say for right now. Okay. About that. Now, before I move forward, though, to give you the specifics about how that energy is going to specifically play out over the course of the next week or two, especially, I do want to go backwards in time for a minute before we move forwards in order to give you the context of how we got here and of why this is now a thing that's coming up to be felt or experienced at this time. And to go back to give you the context, I want to go back to the last solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is right about here somewhere in December of 2020. Okay. I want to go back to that. But before I hop into the context to lead you up to now, I want to note I am not going to go through the past year or so, month by month, like I usually have done in my other videos. Instead, I'm going to chunk it. I'm going to chunk the periods of time, the months from the past few bit, and I'm going to chunk it to just help me go through it much more quickly and to give you a little bit more of a bird's eye view of what's been happening here. So I'm going to start. Let's dive in. What went on December of 2020? Well, in my opinion, at that new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, it was about us stepping into a new, different, better and more blessed chapter of life here, away from a lot of hard, traumatic, and abusive times that had persisted for many months, years, and decades prior to that point. Okay, I should also note as well that the new and better and blessed chapter of life that I think we stepped into in December of 2020 came as a result of something that we were tricked into. We were kind of tricked into it unexpectedly, I would say, in the months prior, especially somewhere around October of 2020. Okay, but either way, however we got there, it doesn't really matter. However we got there in December of 2020, some new and different, and I think better chapter of life started to arrive that was going to be with us for here on out. Okay, then we get to the next month after that, which is January of 2021, and I'm actually going to bring it all the way here. That was the new moon in Capricorn, January of 2021, all the way to the next solar eclipse, which was a new moon in Gemini right here in July. Oh, sorry. Nope, it was June of 2021. Okay. What happened during January of 2021 to June of 2021? Well, we started to take this new chapter in life that had recently arrived and live it and move forward on it in some kind of way here so that it could become more of a long-lasting thing. But even though we tried to do that from January of 2020 to June of 2021, we ran into problems. What were the problems? More fully embracing and living that new and better chapter in life. In my opinion, it was external things from an old chapter in life that were still in the new, that we had not fully cut out of it. That could have been an old relationship that was creeping in on a new relationship that started to come, or it's an old job that was creeping in on a new job, or on a new money and career chapter, or it was an old home and family situation creeping in on a new one that was really preventing the new chapter in life from being more fully felt and more fully embraced. And because it was a physical, I think it was a physical old thing still in our lives, we had to, in between January and June of 2021, go through, I think, uncomfortable efforts to cut those things out of our life so that we could move on. Okay. And I think somewhere around June and July, especially June and July of 2021, we did that. We cut these old things in the physical out that were impeding on the new chapter in life that came in December of 2020. And we started to live more fully that new chapter in life. But even though we started to live more fully that new chapter in life between June and July of 2021, we ran into another problem after that, all the way to, I think, October. Now, October of 2021, around that new moon in Libra conjunct Mercury retrograde. What was the problem then between June and October of 2021? The problem then was that we were in a new chapter in life officially, without old people, old situations, old jobs, old circumstances bringing us down. But even though we were in a new chapter in life, the old mindsets based on abuse, pain, trauma, and hurt from the past still lingered. And the old mindsets and feelings that still lingered started to recreate the same issues that we had with the old things, now with the new things. The old things were gone, but we're having the same issues with the old things we had with the new things because we aren't right. Our emotions weren't right. Our thought processes still weren't right and still weren't where they needed to be in some kind of way, kind of contaminating this different experience. Okay. And because that was going on, we then had to work through that. And I believe that around October of 2021, and especially at that next new moon, which is in Scorpio in November of 2021, we did it. We did it. Not only were the old things out of our lives creeping in on the new life, but the old emotions and perspectives, I think, and habits and feelings were also out as well. Thank goodness. And because they were out as well, in November 2021, at the new moon in Scorpio, we began to more fully transform all parts of our lives now to embody this new and better chapter in life that came in December of 2020 and to experience it. Now, only did we start to more fully transform, shapeshift, to be more completely in this new chapter in life, but we also started to change more things in the new chapter in life to get more and more on board with this different way of being here. But even though we started to do that, and even though I do think that was a very beautiful experience, I think it happened way too fast. And I think it before we were ready, and I think it scared us and it freaked us out because it started to happen way too fast, to transform before our eyes, to be very different. We realized at the next full moon, right after that, 2 weeks later here in Taurus, which was a lunar eclipse in November 2021, that we need to slow things way the fuck down. Especially because Taurus is a fixed sign ruled by Venus, very slow. We needed to slow this crazy process of change way down. And we needed to slow it down so that we can become more sensible about everything that was going on and to make sure that we had our head on straight about everything that was going on, and so that we could adapt to it and adjust to it more and make sure that we were doing things after this point in the best way for our situation so that the old shit wouldn't repeat like it constantly has done over and over and over again. And I think us slowing down was very helpful. Was very helpful to because of the next new moon, which was a solar eclipse here in Sagittarius this past December of 2021. And what was that about? That was about us finally getting insights from our higher mind, and I think from the divine too, from spirit, from source, from intuition as well, about our next steps and about how to better maneuver this new chapter in life in a way that's actually going to work and in a way that's actually meant for us from here on out. Okay, we started to get these insights. Those insights were a little overwhelming, I should note, to get at first, and kind of came in a really confusing way. But even though those insights were a little confusing and overwhelming at first, they did come. And because they came, now we get to this video. Now we get to this new moon in Capricorn, of which this video is for here in January of 2021. Now we have more certainty about what is going on in our lives, this transition, and what needs to happen next in order for it to get going. Not only do we have more certainty about what's going on, but I think we're feeling more competent, and more healthy and more strong in order to better manage this new cycle in life, in order to manage this new chapter in life, in order to get it on the road in a much better and more complete way so that it can manifest in the physical and be more healthy and be more long lasting in a way that's going to work for us from here on out without all this constant flip-flopping and challenges that we've had before. Okay, and that's it. Okay, because that's it, I'm now just going to repeat all of those things one more time without all the astrology so that you can get a better sense of what is going on here at this time. So let me do that now. What I think is going on at this new moon in Capricorn is that we are finally here understanding what new chapter in life we're stepping into and about how this new chapter in life works, and starting to manage it a bit better here so that it can more fully manifest in a more physical, public way and be seen, and so that we can enjoy it, especially after learning a lot of lessons about this new chapter in life over the course of the past year and fixing a lot of things that were stopping it from coming into the picture. Okay, and that's it. Anything else that I want to say? I want to say this feels like the most anticlimactic beginning I've ever seen in my entire life. Usually when you think of new beginnings and new cycles and things like that, they feel exciting. They feel exciting. They feel exciting. They feel free. They feel more fresh. And I will say this one, we feel a bit weary, especially with the Capricorn influence, especially after all we've been through. This is some kind of new cycle, a new beginning, but it does feel a bit serious. It does feel a bit, and I think it's going to take some time in order for us to figure out how to work with, but that's what I'm going to say there. Now, because that's it, I'm going to move forward in time so that you can now see how this energy is going to play out as we move forward a little bit. So let me do that now. To do that, I want to start back here with the new moon. Okay, there's the new moon in Capricorn. What was that about? Again, the new moon in Capricorn is about us more fully figuring out how to manage some new chapter in life so that we can get it on the road in a healthier way and in a stronger way that's going to last the test of time. Okay, we've got this new moon here in Capricorn making a square over here to Chiron in Aries. This is a very difficult thing. Okay, why is it difficult? Because it's a square. Squares are hard. I always interpret them in a hard way. Also too, because Chiron tends to be very difficult as well, bringing a lot of triggers, fears, anxiousness, and just anxiety overall. What are the triggers and fears here? Well, Aries is an action sign, right? It's ruled by Mars. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It likes to do things, and it likes to do things fast, and it likes to do things quick without justification and without having to really think twice about a lot of things. Not only does Aries like to do things fast, but I'm going to say, especially with Venus retrograde, it just likes things to happen fast, happen big without all these like conversations and questions about what's going on here. And that's not what's occurring right now. There's nothing happening fast right now. So I think there's a lot of frustration here. I guess to put it another way, there's a lot of frustration here that we are about to step into a new cycle in life here that we've been working towards for quite some time, but that it is still going slow to come to us, slow for us to receive it. And it's also going slow for us to get with it. Going slow for us to get with it and to fully get on board with it. And also because with the Capricorn influence, it is taking a lot of seriousness and thoughtfulness and responsibility in order to make sure we're doing it right. So there is a lot of frustration here about that. There's this feeling of, if there's a new chapter in life coming, why doesn't it come? Why doesn't it? What's taken it so long? What's taken me so long? What's taken it so long? I don't understand. I'm very frustrated that I'm still having to wait and I'm still having to figure these things out. Like, haven't we been at this long enough? Like, is working at this since December 2020 not long enough for you? And I think in many cases since April 2020, when Saturn made a conjunction with Pluto, and even way before that, while Saturn was in Saturn was in Scorpio in like 2014 or something, you know, so this has been going on for a very, very, very long time. And even it's been going on for a very long time here. And I think that's what's going on. I think with the new moon square Chiron in Aries, where part of us is feeling good. Part of us is feeling good that a new chapter in life is about to get on the road here and we're figuring out how to work with it better. But part of us is not feeling good that even though it's coming, this new chapter in life, and we're figuring out how to work with it, it is still going slow in coming, and we're still slow on the uptake to figure out how to work with it here. Okay, very hard. Okay, not only that, but with Mars in Sagittarius, the ruler, of course, of Chiron, because it's in Mars's sign, making a square over here to Neptune in Pisces, I think we're also very confused as well. When I see Neptune by hard aspect, I typically interpret that as confusion. Not only do I interpret that as confusion, but I also do typically interpret that as well as emotion, and not the good kind, like a sad emotion, vulnerability, or feeling kind of stuck in a lot of ways, and like incapable of doing things, especially when Mars is involved, or of making things happen. So what does that mean to me to continue to bring it together? We are on the cusp. We are on the eve of a significantly new and better chapter in our life manifesting that we've been working towards for quite some time, and we're learning how to work with it better. But even though it's so close to manifesting and we're learning how to work with this new chapter in life better, it's still not fucking here and taking its goddamn time in order to happen, okay? Because either other people that we're depending on or need aren't getting with us to start this new chapter in life, or because we are the roadblocks, we are still not with it in some way and still need more time in order to figure some things out. And us needing more time, or other people needing more time, and things just not connecting, the pieces just not connecting to get a new chapter in life, that is creating anxiety. It's maybe even anger, right? Like the Aries can get that way. Anger. I think it's also creating sadness and confusion of like, what is happening? You know, like if I have been working this new chapter out in life for quite some time, and if I'm understanding now what needs to be done to make the new chapter in life work, like why aren't these connecting? You know, like there's this feeling of like, what the heck is going on? I'm so close to getting into a new chapter of life. I know what needs to be done, but it's still not happening. Where is the disconnect? You know, it's just like, this makes no sense. There's this feeling of like that nothing is what it seems right now, and nothing makes sense about why all of this is happening. Anger, confusion, sadness, weird emotions. Okay, not only that, but I think it's also bringing a lot of anxiety and a lot of restlessness, especially too because this new moon in Capricorn is trine Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus can be a bit restless, can be a bit anxious, a bit nervous, and Uranus correlates to Aquarius, which has to do with the internet, has to do with electricity, feeling very electric. So there could be this very nervous vibe too of like, why haven't I still figured this out? And when is it going to happen if it's not going to happen now? You know, I think there's a lot of that is going on here. Okay, why? Maybe I need to stop for a minute. Why are things not manifesting? Why is a new cycle in life about to manifest? Why do we know what needs to be done to manifest it, but why are we still not doing what we know we need to do, or still not accepting it? Well, I think it's because what's needed in order to make this new chapter in life manifest is a very different way of behaving. If we want to go back to the Aries stuff, it's a very different way of behaving, you know, because Aries is about action. Actions are about our behaviors. It's a very different way of behaving than what we're used to. And it's a very different way of behaving that I think, especially with the opposite point of Pluto and Cancer, which is very important to me, as one that's more sensitive, is one that's more vulnerable, is one that's more in tune with your emotions and honest about your emotions, and about what's truly fulfilling for you. And I think that's what the holdup is, if I can be honest with you. I think that's what the holdup is. I think the holdup is that either we within ourselves or the people we're connecting with still are not connecting the wires in the brain here, that a new chapter in life requires a drastically different set of behaviors, and a drastically different set of behaviors that prioritizes your emotions first, your emotional needs, your emotional fulfillment first, not appearances, not what everyone else says, not what looks cool to everyone else, not what you've been doing for many years and decades, not what everyone's always done, not what you think you should want because you're a certain age and you're a certain person and you live a certain life, but what you actually feel deep down in your soul. That is the holdup, because I think there's still an issue getting that together and figuring that out. That here is creating the delay within ourselves and with other people. Here, a new way, Sagittarius, of acting Mars is very, very, very needed. That is the delay that hasn't fully come together. Okay, that's stopping us. It's a small thing. It's a small thing creating a lot of frustration here. Okay, but even though this is very frustrating, and that is, I think, the issue, I want to note, I do feel as though we are able to overcome this issue pretty quickly. I should note, after we feel it, and perhaps pretty unexpectedly. Okay, the reason why I feel like we're able to overcome this issue pretty quickly and unexpectedly is because, yes, the new moon is in a trine to Uranus and Taurus, and trines in predictive astrology, according to Bernadette Brady, can indicate things happening very quickly. Uranus is also the planet of the sudden and the unexpected here. So I think we can suddenly and unexpectedly, very quickly overcome all those issues and anxieties and anger and frustrations that I just talked about. Okay, not only do I think we can very quickly and unexpectedly overcome it, but I think we can do it in a very successful kind of way. Why? Well, because Chiron recently went direct 2 weeks ago and is now more fully getting up to speed. Okay, and when planets get up to speed, this is a very good thing. It indicates forward momentum in some area of our life, especially now that Chiron's going to pass the degrees that it was making us crazy all this past year. So this to me is a very good thing. Not only is it very good because of that, but it's also very good too, because to me, the early phases of the moon, especially the new moon, are more supportive and tend to bring more things together instead of have things fall apart. Not only that, but because the first quarter moon coming a week after this new moon, January, I don't know why, 9th. I think it's January 9th. January 9th is going to be in Aries. It's going to be in Aries. First quarter moons are about momentum, are about progress. Aries is about the will to life, if you will, like the first sign of the zodiac, and is about action, and is about acting successfully, and is about new cycles. So even though, and when not only I should mention too, Mars is in Sagittarius, which is about learning a new way of life, where the solar eclipse was, a month prior or so. So what that means to me here is that even though a new chapter in life is coming very soon, and we know what needs to be done, but we're not doing it, or it's still delaying itself and still stalling and creating a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration, a lot of restlessness, a lot of confusion, a lot of weird emotions, we suddenly and unexpectedly snap ourselves out of it because of an insight from our higher mind, Uranus, because of an insight of our higher mind, because we've learned now, because of everything we've been through. We suddenly and unexpectedly wake up and snap ourselves out of it here and realize how close we are to a new chapter in life, and realize now what needs to be done in order to make it manifest, which is a drastically different way of doing things, and which is honoring our heart and being vulnerable and being sensitive and being emotional for once. And it starts to click, and that clicking, so to speak, of everything finally gelling, oh, this is it, that then gets things moving. I want to say gets this new chapter in life moving, and moving with the Aries, the first quarter moon in Aries. A week from now, January 9th, moving bigger, more quickly, more effectively, and not moving bigger, quicker, more effectively in a way that we're scared of. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can't handle it. Oh, I'm still stuck. Old person in my life I haven't gotten rid of. Old mindset, old habit. No. Aries, when it's in a good aspect, especially now with Chiron moving on, does things fast, swift, quick, effective, efficient, can handle it. So even though we come into this new moon, new chapter in life coming, I know what I need to do, but it's not happening. I can't do it. I don't know. Confused, anxious, restless, all of a sudden, unexpectedly, we snap out of it and we say, no, I got this. I got this. I've been at this for way too long to let myself get into all this stuff. And I'm too much stronger now, and I'm healed now. I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm going to do what needs to be done to make this new chapter in life come together, or receive what needs to be received. And I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do it faster, swifter, with more certainty and with more effectiveness to actually do the damn thing and start to bring it together here without all the fear and the anxiety of the past that I think is going to be very, very good here. Now, another thing I need to clarify is once we get going to do this stuff, to get some new chapter in life on the road, I do think it's gonna happen bigger, and I do think it's gonna happen faster, especially the first quarter moon in Aries a week from now as we get towards that full moon in Cancer. But even though it's gonna happen bigger and faster, I do need to note it's gonna take another 3 months till when? Aries season. It's going to take until Aries season, okay? You need to understand how important the sign of Aries is to Western astrology, the type of astrology I do. It's the start of the zodiac. It starts the whole damn thing, So even though there is something at the very end, a week or two from now, that's going to happen bigger, faster, quicker, more in control, like more in charge, to get some new chapter in life on the road now without the issues of the past and without this fear. It's still going to take another 3 months until Aries, till the sun enters Aries, and until that new moon in Aries, like a week or two after the sun enters Aries, to fully gel and to fully come together and to fully get a handle of. But even though it's going to take another 3 months or so, that's really not that long. I mean, to have things happen from now to 3 months, I mean, that's pretty swift, I think. I mean, how much faster can you get? And making some really big things in our life more fully come together. So it's still going to take till Aries season, which is the end of March sometime, and into April to fully happen, but it's going to start to happen from now until then, I think, in more supportive and very positive ways to get things going here that need to happen in order for us to move on without these old cycles repeating. Okay, another thing that I want to note as well, now I guess I'm shifting into other points here. Another thing that I want to note here, what are we waiting on? What exactly, I want to be more specific. What are we waiting on at this new moon that's slowing everything up, that's slowing whatever is about to occur from now to Aries season? Like, what is that? Okay. For a lot of you, it is the action, okay? For a lot of you, it is what I said. It is the learning to behave in a drastically different way than you're used to behaving. And to behaving in a drastically different way that is more authentic to you, more true to you, more honest about who you really are and what you're really feeling, and that lets people into your heart and that focuses more on that. That is a big part of the holdup, okay? For I think a lot of people, the majority of people, that is the holdup, is realizing that that's the last piece of the puzzle here that's really needed to bring everything together, and then more fully accepting it and embracing it and being okay with that. Okay, so I think that's a big thing of what needs to come together. But I want to note as well, because I know that there's a lot of people obviously who are watching with a lot of different experiences, that some of you are not waiting on yourself to get that. Some of you are naturally there. Some of you may be waiting on other people in your life who are slower to get it so that you can work with them and things can get moving. So I think that's another point that I wanted to make here. Not only, I should note that whatever is about to get going is going to take from now until Aries season, until the end of March and the beginning of April to really fully gel, even though we're going to start a process of things coming together very quickly after this for the next 3 months. But that what we're waiting on to get these things going is either the realization within ourselves that we need to act in a drastically different way, more emotional, vulnerable, and heartfelt, and to honor our deep feelings, even if they're crazy, or that we need to wait on other people who are working with us to get it in order for things to move forward. Okay. Another thing that I want to say as well, when it comes to doing things that are more heartfelt and that are more intuitive and that are more natural or easier, come from a more emotionally open place, if you will, when it comes to that, like what are we doing, right? Like once we, for those of us in particular who are the ones ourselves who are learning to do things in a more vulnerable and emotional and sensitive way that honors like the depths of your heart and your soul and your emotions and what truly makes you happy, then what? Then what are you doing that's going to bring things together quicker in your life for the next 3 months or so till the new moon in Aries, which I do think is the beginning of April? Like, what is that? A few things. Some of you are receiving. So let me say that. Some of you are not doing anything. Some of you are waiting to receive something by someone else who needs to act. Okay. And some of you are just receiving, but others of you are doing things more instinctually, and you're the ones who need to get with it. And if that's you, what are you doing? Well, a few thoughts here. Those of you who need to do something and are starting to get with it, that you need to do something in a way that's more in tune with your emotions, you could be doing something new in some kind of way. You could be taking some kind of move very soon here to do something that you think is going to make you happy, or that you do think is going to improve your life in some way, shape, or form that you've never ever done before. Like something drastically different than what you've done before that you're going to like. Others of you are not getting this drastically different shift here in your approach to do something new. Others of you are getting a drastically different shift in your approach. Yes, I know I'm going to say it again, but to go back, way back in your life to get something from the past that you know in the depths of your soul is truly going to make you happy and is truly going to make you fulfilled and is truly going to warm your heart, that you've been ignoring and that you've been neglecting over the course of the past few weeks, months, and years because you haven't gotten this through your head. Some of you may need to go back to get something that you have been neglecting and overlooking because you've been out of touch with who it is that you really are and your compass has been a bit off. Okay, what could this be? This could be a person that you told off before because you weren't healed or because you had other things going on. That could be a business partnership. That could be a romantic relationship. It could be a job. It could even be a hobby. It could even be a hobby that you go back to get. It can even be an old lost part of yourself, of who you used to be. Some of you may need to go back to get things in order to go forward here, or to go back to close out old things in order to move on as well, especially with Venus currently retrograde. Retrogrades backwards. Venus, relationships, money, jobs, all these situations, especially with Mercury about to go retrograde soon too. So some of you may need to go back to do it. But if this is a major if you are going back to do something and to get something or redo something here, it is not out of obligation. It is not because you should do it. It's not because you have to do it. It's not because if you don't do it, someone's going to yell at you and someone's going to get pissed at you and you're going to be miserable. No, if you are one of those people, you have to decide. It's not up to me that there is something from the past still that you didn't get, that's close to your heart. It's not going to be something you have to do. It's going to be something you want to do. That's the main distinction, because there's been a lot of things over the course of the past few months. If you've been following my horoscopes, especially when Mercury was retrograde in May and June of this past year, and especially when Mercury went retrograde again in Libra season, September and October of this past year, there were a lot of things I told you got to go back, you got to go back to fix old things and to get out of old stuff. Well, that stuff you went back to fix earlier this past year, that was not stuff you wanted to fix. That was not stuff that was fun to fix. That was not stuff that was easy for you to fix. That's not stuff that you just loved to go back to get. No, that was crappy stuff. That was crappy stuff that you had to go back to fix. If some of you are going back to do something at this time, it's because you want to do it. It's because it's naturally coming from your heart and you think it's actually going to fulfill you for once. And that's why you're going back to get it here in order to bring it forward. But I just wanted to make that clear here. that to say it, to back out of it, I just want to make it clear here that there is some new chapter in life that we've been working towards for quite some time that wants to come now, and very quickly until Aries season, until the new moon in Aries, the middle freaking April, the beginning of April, especially while Jupiter zooms through Pisces, something that wants to come very soon and very fast, but it's delayed. It's slightly delayed right now, which is new moon in Capricorn is for. It's slightly delayed and it's feeling slow and it's not happening. And the reason why it's not happening is because either you or the person that you are dealing with still is struggling to get it through to themselves that this new chapter of life requires a drastically different way of acting, and one that's acting more in tune with your emotions for once, in a way we haven't in a while. And us realizing that that's the issue, or the people we're dealing with, which I think is going to come at this time period suddenly and unexpectedly, is then going to help. It's going to help fix the delay, fix the bottlenecks in this new chapter in life, so that we can do the thing, more new things that we need to be happy to get this show on the road that's more meaningful to us, or so that we can go back to get the things we lost, the people, the jobs, the hobbies, the parts of ourselves that we lost, not because we have to, but because we want to, because we feel it, because it's going to be meaningful for us, because it's going to complete us. It's going to complete this new chapter in life, especially with the full moon about to be in Cancer. It's going to complete the missing part of our soul, because it's going to complete us. And getting it through our head that this is the issue, and then doing things, new stuff, or going back to get old stuff, not because we have to, because we want to, is then finally going to get this new cycle in life here on the road quicker over the course of the next 3 months, and not in a way that we're scared of, and not in a way that we can't handle, and not in a way that we have to slow down, but in a way that we can handle, in a way that we're stronger, in a way that we're more empowered by, in a way that we feel more in charge of here, in order for us to move forward, that I really do like a lot. Okay. And I think that's it. I know there were some other things that maybe I could have mentioned here. Jupiter and Pisces I didn't talk too much about, which is a pretty big deal, and I like it. Maybe I could have talked a little bit more about the Venus and conjunct Pisces. The Venus conjunct Pluto here, with it currently being retrograde, with Mercury, in pre-retrograde shadow entering Aquarius. I know there's a lot more I could have said here in this video that I didn't say. But trust me, it's factored in. It's factored into the equation. When the energy is very significant, like what's going on now, and tied up to so many things that have gone on for so long, for the past few months and years, the details really become a little bit more insignificant. And the big picture is what's more important. And I think that that's what was needed to be said here. And so that's what I'm going to stick with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the inside degree for this time period, so that you can get another perspective here on the astrology other than mine. I've got it currently up on the screen. The inside degrees were not written by me. They were written by someone else named Elias Lonsdale, who channeled these from Spirit. I believe maybe with the help of someone else, but here they are. The new moon in Capricorn is at 12 degrees. Which one do I want to read? Which one? Okay. I'm going to read 12 for a minute. Just hit me as the one to read here. So we're going to do that. It says, obsession with images of what is desirable and undesirable, polarization of the inward awareness between plus and minus, the extreme reliance upon external proof, external props, and external projection. I want to stop here for a minute, and I want to say this has been the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem with the last chapter of our life that we've been trying to overcome since December of 2020, and I think longer. Okay, the problem is that we've been relying too much on the appearances, on external appearances of things, and not enough on the heart and soul, our heart and soul, and on the heart and soul of the peoples that we're connecting with, to see if there's a compatibility there and a soul resonance. We haven't been doing that. And because we've been relying too much on the external stuff, it has created problems. Okay, why do I say that? I say that because Pluto has been in Capricorn for quite some time. Okay, Pluto brings, I think, a really unhealthy expression of a sign. All signs have healthy expressions. Pluto brings out the unhealthy one. That's where we are here. And the new moon in Capricorn is not encouraging more of an unhealthy expression. It's encouraging us to get away from that unhealthy expression more and more and more to get a different one, which is the opposite point of Pluto here in Cancer, and much better, where the full moon is going to be 2 weeks from now. So that's why I say that. Okay, let's read on. It says, everything blown up to be so dramatic, so total, and so pressurized that what comes forth is the inversion of what is sought. This to me is obviously more information about what the problem is. The problem for the past however many years in our lives has been relying too much on external appearances and not enough on the soul and on the heart, and us, because of that, creating the opposite situations of what we actually want to be creating, which creates a lot of drama. Look at this, a lot of drama and a lot of pressure for no reason. Well, for a reason. There's a reason, but for a very ridiculous one, in my opinion. Placing yourself in predicaments and dilemmas which are impossible and gross. Oh my goodness, this is the past. This is the past decades of our life. Just can't say it enough. Ignoring our true heart and soul, only looking at the external appearances of things, creating the opposite of what we actually want to be creating, and a lot of drama. And these situations are impossible and gross. But even though in the past we've been creating these situations, we've been resistant. We've been resistant to getting the message here about what needs to change. We've been resisting getting the message over the course of the past few months and years and decades that when we insist on only focusing on the external, polarized, and not on the internal, that we don't create anything long-lasting and we don't create anything meaningful, because it just all fades away and it just creates chaos all the time. And now we're coming out of that. And I actually am going to go backwards to Capricorn 11, because I actually think that one's helpful too. So, man, do I want to read 13? Oh, God. As a Cancer rising, let me just say that I do evolutionary astrology. The opposite point of Pluto is very important to evolutionary astrology and where our purpose is, where our destiny is at this time. I'm a Cancer rising, exactly opposite where all this Pluto stuff has been. And I've got a whole bunch of planets in Gemini where the North Node has been. This has been my issue with everyone else over the course of the past few months and years. It's like, I don't understand why you're doing all these things that mean nothing to you, but you keep doing them, and I'm over here and I know that, this is why I'm so upset. In the past video that I did for the full moon in Gemini, in this video, I'm like, will everyone just get it? Will everyone please? Whoever needs to get this, just get this so that we can move on. But anyways, here we are. The same thing from Capricorn 13, the same part of our problem, taking advantage of our own beasts, entertaining our own devils, if you will, with the devil correlating to Capricorn and tarot. Yeah, this has been us over the course of the past few years, just feeding the beast here, feeding the problem here, which is ignoring our true soul, and only focusing on productivity and results, which is creating a lot of the issues. And we're refusing to develop against the grain compassion and gentle feelings and all of that. Just saying. Now, I want to read Capricorn 11. I know it's a bit backwards here, but because I actually think that it is more helpful and more constructive than some of the others. So we're going to do that too. Capricorn 11 says polarities go against each other in order to find each other again. When they are still busy going against each other, they pull you apart. It's very traumatic. But they do help you to learn to bring the polarities back together any way that you can. So what that means to me is that, yes, over the course of past many years and decades, I personally believe, especially with the 12 and 13 Capricorn here, that we have been ignoring what's truly in our heart and soul and only focusing on appearances and on what looks like it might be something that we might like with ignoring the real truth of it, which has gotten us in a lot of bad situations. And what's going on at this new moon in Capricorn is where we're, I think, being forced to confront that, where we're being forced to confront our old habits, our old patterns, and our old behaviors that have been this, so that we can break free from them. And I think we're being forced at this new moon to confront the old habits and patterns and ways of behaving now that we've gotten more understanding of what the new way is that honors more of our soul. And now that we've seen them brush up against each other kind of long enough in like a weird sense of tension and friction. Okay. And while these two polarities of doing things out of expectation and appearance and doing things out of heart and soul and meaning brush up against each other, we are walking a collective karmic edge between the old and the new so that we can honor them in the right ways and bring them together in a new way that is fresh. So maybe that's the parting note that I'll leave you on here. Sorry to catch myself up, is that yes, we have been doing things for too long in a way that does not honor our true heart and that honors appearances only. And at this new moon in Capricorn, we're being called to confront that, to confront why we have done things in such a backwards way for so long, especially now that we've started to see that a new and different way is possible and see it work over the course of the past few months and feel the tension kind of come up here against each other to move forward. And I do believe that this tension is going to lead to something very positive, and what it's going to lead here is very interesting at what it says. It's going to lead to a new way of living that's fresh, but the new way of living it's going to lead to is going to be one that honors both in just the right ways. I believe that I made it seem like in certain parts of this video, like we were meant to leave all external appearances behind and move forward. But I think this brings up a thing I need to mention here, is that that's really not the goal entirely. The goal is to learn to honor them in the right ways and in the right proportions. So to focus on external appearances when focusing on external appearances is necessary, and to focus on the heart and soul when the heart and soul is necessary here in order to move it together. I think the reason why I maybe just made it seem like the emotions were more is because I think that has been more neglected. All right. And once we focus on honoring the emotions more, we're going to get a healthier outer appearance. We're going to get a healthier way of judging the appearances and the external results in order to move things forward. So I think that's what I want to say there. We are at this new moon in Capricorn having the old way of only judging things based on experiences brush up against the new way of following the heart and the emotions because they've been working themselves out prior to this point. And it's a bit tense and a bit challenging and a bit difficult, but it is going to help us finally to have some kind of breakthrough to do them both differently and better, and to do them both differently and better by first honoring the emotions, which is then going to on the back end, get the structure in place and get the external appearances and results that it is that we want. You know, like sometimes we think, I think a lot of times we think about it the opposite way, especially with the Pluto and Capricorn. I think sometimes we think that in order to get structured situations in our life that are going to last, we need to think about the serious structured things, but it's actually the opposite, especially right now. In order for us to get the structure and the external results that it is that we want, to have a better job, to make money, to get a relationship going, we need to honor the heart first. And honoring the heart first is not going to neglect the structure and the other stuff. It's going to polarize it in a much better way, like a magnet, to bring things together, especially actually, I should note too, is Mars and Venus inch closer and closer and closer over to a conjunction here over the course of the next month or two. Here, they're getting very close. And of course, Mars is masculine, Venus is a feminine. They tend to be polarities in some way, working themselves together. Okay, so I think that's it. Now your card for this time period is the Page of Wands reversed and the Four of Swords upright. This is interesting. The Four of Swords to me is actually about sleeping and about nothing happening. Obviously, when you're sleeping, really not too much is going on, and about things being at a standstill or feeling a bit I don't know if restful is the word. And then we've got the Page of Wands to me, which is about really lack of vision, lack of creative vision, and lack of passion. So I think that's what these cards are saying, is that at this new moon, and I think for many years prior, there's been a lack of passion and a lack of creativity in our lives, which has caused us to really stand still here and not really have anything happen in our lives, especially not in a fulfilling way. I think these cards are also saying too that because that I think has been the problem, what is now needed at this new moon in Capricorn is for us to reclaim our passion, reclaim our truth, reclaim our emotions, if you will, and to start building more things around that. And with the Emperor, this is another Aries card, I'm telling you. Chiron just went direct in Aries, first quarter moon in Aries. Aries season coming up soon, first sign of the zodiac. Very good. We need to be more in tune with our emotions, do things more in tune with our emotions, and be more passionate and not be afraid. Not be afraid to go with the emotions, to honor the emotions, and to act towards those things, and to know that you can do it and be quite effective here at making things happen. And that by you honoring your emotions, that is the best and the quickest way towards stability and towards longevity and towards results and towards appearances than any other thing that you could ever try to do or achieve, at least right now with what's currently going on. So that's what I'll say there. And I actually think that's a quite powerful point that I didn't plan on saying in this video, which is that if you want something long lasting and long term in your life right now, a long-term relationship that's healthy, a long-term business partnership, a long-term job, you know, a long-term home and family situation, the best way to get that is to not be serious, and is to not only focus on appearances, or to not only be serious, and to not only focus on appearances, and not only focus on results, but to honor your heart and soul and your emotions, and to follow that. And that, strangely, even if it feels opposite what you want to be doing or what you think is going to work, that strangely is going to click everything together here and into place in the way that it needs to be, where it needs to be, when it needs to be, and to make it work. So I think that's all. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you all are doing okay. And I'll talk to you here on the next video. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.